Jennifer Lopez has been a hot topic for decades, but for all the wrong reasons. Here's some scandals everyone just pretends never happened. It seems that the world has forgotten about the club firearm discharging that led to Jennifer Lopez and Diddy's arrest in 1999. The celebs were dating at the time and decided to enjoy a night out at a club in New York. A fight broke out after Diddy reportedly bumped into another club-goer's drink. The conflict escalated and rounds were eventually fired, some of which Diddy was allegedly responsible for. 3 bystanders were wounded as a result of the blasting, with one of the victims named Natanya Rubin actually getting hit in the face. To this day, she says Combs is responsible for her injuries. She said she still has fragments remaining in her face. Later that same night, Diddy and Lopez were actually pulled over for a traffic violation. They were then arrested after a stolen firearm was found in the trunk of their car. Lopez's jail stay was brief and Diddy was later acquitted, so it seems that this former couple wasn't severely punished for their alleged crimes. Still, the eventful night appeared to have a lasting impact because it led Diddy to change his name. The rapper revealed during an interview with MTV News in 2001, "No more Puff Daddy. The first week in June, we're gonna have a name change ceremony. I'm not doing it as serious as Prince, but I just want something fresh. I'm rocking with P. Diddy now." In 2013, Jennifer Lopez was in a PR scandal after performing at a Turkmenistan event. The singer sang happy birthday to the then president Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov during the gig. Now, at the time, Human Rights Watch ranked the former Soviet Republic's government as one of the world's most oppressive leaders. Also, the president was tagged as an authoritarian who imprisoned and tormented citizens who criticized his regime. Given the leader's bad reputation, J-Lo's performance landed her in very hot water. Human rights activists criticized the celebrity for not only receiving nearly $2 million for her gig, but also indirectly standing for human rights violations. Eventually, Jennifer apologized in a statement, noting that she wouldn't have attended the concert if she had known the country's human rights record. One of Jennifer Lopez's scandals that stands out to date, but everyone acts like it never happened, is the intimacy tape scandal involving the star and her first husband, Ohani Noah. The former couple tied the knot in 1997, but their marriage ended very quickly in 1998 after only 11 months together. Noah was a waiter at a Cuban restaurant in Miami Beach when Lopez first met him, but he had aspirations to be the next Ricky Martin. He said post-divorce that he was just like Ricky Martin when he sings, and that he wanted to be famous and respected for what he does, just like J-Lo. At the time of their separation, Ohani had signed a non-disclosure agreement with the singer. The document prohibited him from revealing any personal details of their time together. However, Jennifer sought legal action after Ohani threatened to make the tape from their honeymoon public. At the time, Ohani's business partner, Ed Meyer, revealed that there were loopholes in the contract, adding that they were going to make the tape very public. He told In Touch magazine, "We are going to produce a DVD and also have a streaming release of J-Lo's home footage." For a grueling 6 years, beginning in 2003, Jenny from the Block blocked Noah and Meyer's efforts in court and eventually won the case, barring him from releasing their private home videos or a movie titled How I Married Jennifer Lopez, the J-Lo and Ohani Noah story, or even a tell-all book. The man has tried it all and failed. However, the court eventually obtained the 11-hour-long master tape footage from Ohani and ensured he didn't make copies, stopping all of his malicious plans. It sits now in a central depository per court order. It's alleged now that he said he has some compromising videos of J-Lo and Diddy, but who knows if that's true. He seems to be an opportunist who keeps looking to stay relevant, so I doubt there's much truth to that, but time will tell. In June 2024, Jennifer made the headlines after receiving harsh criticism from Meghan McCain. In an episode of her Citizen McCain podcast, the former View co-host described the pop star as a deeply unpleasant person. Meghan said, "I too share similar negative stories that apparently the world does too. I actually feel bad right now because we're turning to a point where there's bullying happening to J-Lo." The political commenter recalled an off-putting encounter with the pop star when she appeared on The View. Meghan remembered Jennifer bringing like the biggest entourage she had ever seen. She said, "Her team was more than Kim Kardashian and any other guest. I just don't really understand why it was needed." Meghan also noted that Jennifer wasn't nice during her time on the show. She also added, "I was a host at The View. She was not nice. You don't always have to be so nice, but it was surprising that people people like Kim Kardashian couldn't be more delightful. When you're coming on a show for a 10-minute segment, just fake it till you make it for 10 minutes. To be fair, Lopez does have a reputation for being a diva in like the fullest sense, but to be even more honest, Megan is the last person who should be casting stones on that front. Megan clearly feels bad about Lopez being bullied, and you can tell by the way she proceeds, to blame Lopez for allegedly having a TikTok video pulled where Megan said she wasn't her favorite guest. It was a pretty bold claim with zero evidence that ended up being refuted by Megan's own team. Yikes. One of her reps actually said, "We do not know how or why we received a violation notice. We pressed, appeal, and the video was reinstated in a few hours." McCain's guest at the time, reality TV producer Carlos King, took a moment to actually defend Lopez. He recalled a time that he met J-Lo back in 2001 and found her to be charming. He said she was so nice and she didn't have a big entourage. "I went to see J-Lo in Vegas and it's my top 5 shows I've ever been to in my life. She performed and danced for like 90 minutes straight with no break. She's a hard worker and I was shocked that people weren't buying the tickets." So there's that. In 2017, Jennifer Lopez was embroiled in another scandal. This time, the drama was all thanks to the movie star's then partner Alex "A-Rod" Rodriguez. Reports revealed the former baseball star allegedly exchanged a string of X-rated texts with a much younger fitness instructor, Lauren Hunter. Although Lauren claimed she wasn't intimate with A-Rod after he started dating Jennifer, she said he begged her for these X-rated photos a week after the power couple went public with their romance. As expected, the cheating scandal reportedly left J-Lo feeling devastated. Insiders claimed the star was completely caught off guard, heartbroken, and in disbelief that A-Rod would betray her. Now, according to Hunter, on May 13th of that year, A-Rod asked her to meet him 4 days later in Kansas City, where he would be working as an on-air commentator for Fox for the Yankees vs. Royals game, while Lopez was actually filming in New York City. Hunter, who has 3 children, including one with Los Angeles Raiders Hall of Fame running back Marcus Allen, wasn't able to make the trip because she couldn't arrange childcare. A-Rod never spoke on this publicly, and Jennifer just wanted the whole thing to quietly, sit in the shadows, which honestly it kind of did, because this was my first time learning about it. Over the years, Jennifer has been involved in a series of dramas involving her and her backup dancers. In 2022, she was the center of attention for the wrong reasons after reportedly conducting a dance audition for her tour. Glee star Heather Morris called out Jennifer Lopez, claiming she had the most bizarre selection process. During an appearance on the Just Saying with Justin Martindale podcast, Heather claimed Jennifer cut potential dancers based on their astrological signs. Heather explained that, J-Lo, she walked into the room and said, "Thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you please just raise your hand?" In the end, Jennifer allegedly asked all of the Virgos to leave after like a full day of auditioning.
From no female flight attendants to refusing to work with Virgos, here's our list of unbelievable rules Jennifer Lopez makes her staff follow. Now, no Virgos are allowed to work with her. And yes, I'm talking about the zodiac sign, which is just insane, right? Now, how do we know this? Well, someone spilled the beans. Heather Morris got her big break on Ryan Murphy's Fox series Glee, but before that she was a backup dancer for celebrities, and she had quite a run-in when auditioning for J-Lo. In 2022, she said Jennifer Lopez held an audition for dancers for one of her tours, and this was years ago. She said during an appearance on the Just Saying podcast, "Most of the time at dance auditions, you're not getting paid. You've been there since 10 a.m. and you're auditioning until 6 p.m. she said. "People judging you the whole time." And according to Heather, who said she heard the story from multiple people, J-Lo came in at the end of the long day and thanked the dancers. She walked into the room and said, "Thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hands?" And J-Lo apparently saw the raised hands, whispered to her assistant, and dismissed the Virgos. They had to leave after a full day of auditioning, Heather said. Now, what does J-Lo have against Virgos? Who knows, but there is one Virgo that J-Lo, who is a Leo, definitely didn't get along with, which was her ex-husband Mark Anthony, who was born on September 16th. So hey, If you're a Virgo, here's some advice. Don't try to work for JLo because you will not get the job. Now, another rule that has to do with Marc Anthony is that JLo will not have any female flight attendants on her flights. They all have to be men. Why? Well, apparently Marc Anthony cheated on her with one of their female flight attendants, so JLo banned them. She hates flight attendants because her ex-husband Marc Anthony had an affair with one when they were married, an anonymous source has revealed. Now, several corporate flight attendants came forward and revealed that Jennifer does not allow female associates to work on her flights. A private attendant confirmed this rule, saying, JLo won't let female flight attendants work. She brings her own male attendant who is not a flight attendant but a personal assistant. Then another stewardess had this to say: after completely taking out everything in the drawers to fill them with all her preferred items, I was told I had to fly home because she didn't want a female flight attendant, only to have to come back and Uber to the airplane and reset my items because it was a one-way flight. Now, she also hates it when service workers look or speak to her. One time, a flight attendant offered her a drink and she refused to acknowledge him. She said to her assistant, please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime. Then in 2012, reports surfaced that she demanded that staff working for her make no eye contact or speak with her. While having work done on her San Fernando Valley home, she demanded that none of the helpers, drivers, or contractors have any interactions with her. In 2022, a girl named Kayla posted a TikTok saying that her dad worked for a company that JLo would hire for drivers, but apparently he had heard so many bad stories about the star that he never wanted to be her driver. It was said that JLo does not allow the drivers to look or talk to her, and she's also so strict that if the driver looks through the rear view mirror and makes eye contact with her, she will freak out. Not to mention, she has a crazy rule that her luggage cannot touch the ground. JLo demands that her staff make sure that everything in her dressing room is white. Yes, it seems like whenever JLo goes and performs, she needs her backstage area to be completely white and has a team to come in and make the changes for her. In 2022, speaking on her podcast, The 90s with Danny Minogue, the former X Factor judge shared a story of JLo making this crazy demand before performing on Top of the Pops over 20 years ago. According to Danny, the American entertainer apparently insisted that her entire dressing room was redecorated so that everything was white, even going so far as to refuse to go on stage if her wishes were not fulfilled. I was told everything had to be white, including the sofa. I asked to go in and see the room as she wasn't there in that moment. I was lapping up every detail, Danny said. All I could think was, girlfriend is covered head to toe in body makeup. How do you sit on a white couch? Danny recalled with a laugh. Now, it was then reported that while attending a recording session for the African AIDS charity single What's Going On in 2002, JLo submitted her standard tour rider, which demanded a 40-foot trailer furnished in all white from top to bottom, flowers, tablecloths, drapery, couches, candles, everything. Now, a leaked document also revealed that JLo's spaces must be painted entirely white, with white linens, drapes, furniture, and even candles, as long as they're Joe Malone's grapefruit or lime blossom scents. Now, why she chooses the color white, no one really knows, but it's so specific and she throws a fit if this isn't followed. Now, this isn't the only demand when it comes to her dressing room, as in 2010, it was reported that she wanted hanging mirrors for her makeup to be at a specific angle. "You mirror what the world mirrors you" remains one of Jen's most famous quotes, but what that means in this context, I don't really know, but it is just really strange. Then there's also the fact that JLo doesn't want her staff to have their own lives. She wants them to be at her disposal at all times. One famous example of this was when she had her twins Max and Emmy. She was looking for a nanny to take care of both kids, and while this is a lot of work in the first place, JLo wanted the nanny to work 16-hour days, which is honestly just outrageous. An insider told the National Enquirer, normally people who make huge sums of money and have loads of professional and social obligations hire a nanny for each child, especially for newborns. But it is as if Jennifer expects one nanny not to only take care of both twins, but to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Wow. Yeah, now unsurprisingly, the first nanny she hired left after just a week of working for her. Then the source said they hired a second nanny who was wonderful with the twins, but she could not take working such long hours without a break, so she quit after just a week as well. Now again, I can't really blame them as that is an insane schedule. Not to mention that her staff have to make sure everything she wants when she's away from home, she gets. Now JLo has very specific food and beverage notes for the hotels she stays at. JLo's personal suite must include a coffee maker, hot water pot, toaster, microwave, and an oven, all set up before she arrives. She also wants her own plates, coffee mugs, thermos cups, and silverware. Not to mention, she must have at least 2 rooms, so one could be her wardrobe room, which must have 12 bottles of water in it. In January 2016, when she started her residency in Las Vegas, she signed a 3-year contract to perform roughly 120 shows a year at Planet Hollywood's Access Theater. Now, she made $350,000 for each show and performed 3 times a week. But this wasn't enough for her, and she had more demands. She requested 3 penthouse suites all next to each other, she requested a playground in her suite for her kids, and she also demanded a personal laundry service and for each room to have its own on-call butler wearing all white. The housekeeping staff had to sign full disclosure agreements to ensure they didn't spill any of her secrets, and she requested brand new toilets for the backstage area, and then again an all-white dressing room. Guys, JLo is a pathological liar. I mean, I can't even tell when she's telling the truth. From getting someone fired to degrading other celebrities, here's our list of embarrassing times Jennifer Lopez got busted lying. Now, JLo was supposed to go on tour this year, but it was cancelled. Now, the reason why she said it was cancelled and the truth were both very different things. JLo sent a special message to her fans via her On the JLo newsletter, telling them of canceling the tour. "I am completely heartsick and devastated about letting you down." She also said, "Please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel it was absolutely necessary. I promise I will make it up to you and we'll all be together again. I love you all so much. Until next time." Now, representatives for Live Nation announced that the summer tour, This Is Me Live, was cancelled, saying in a statement, Jennifer's taking time off to be with her children, family, and close friends. Sources insisted that pulling the plug was not due to poor ticket sales, but rather for personal reasons and wanting to be with her kids. But this is simply not true. Now, JLo first announced her tour in the middle of February, initially as the This Is Me Now tour. A week later, 3 shows were added, but then the name of the tour was mysteriously rebranded in April. The tour's name had been changed from This Is Me Now to This Is Me Live, The Greatest Hits. It was cited that low ticket sales was a possible reason for emphasizing JLo's back catalog. Now, at the time, Variety reported the latest rebrand suggests a pivot from a tour focusing on the new album songs to one spanning her discography, a move that may entice listeners who didn't connect with her latest material. Now, not to mention, her new album debuted at a disappointing 38 on the Billboard 200. Now, in March, she raised eyebrows when she and her team decided to cancel 7 shows from her tour without any explanation. Then in June, it was announced that it was cancelled. Now, another reason besides low ticket sales could have been because she was going through a divorce with her then husband, Ben Affleck. She cited April 26 as the date of their separation, so it's likely that this had something to do with the cancellation as well. Now, between a divorce and poor ticket sales, I don't blame her for canceling the tour, but she should have been more open and honest about it with her fans. But here comes another lie. She is known for lip syncing. Yep, this so-called great performer doesn't even sing live while on stage. In November 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this sounds exactly like her live vocals just did," and a commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now, this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of I Love You Poppy on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. Then in 2012, it was reported that she had a maid fired from her job, although J-Lo repeatedly denies it. Jennifer was staying at the Melia Dusseldorf in Germany, and a maid working at the hotel, Prey Doja, approached the diva's room to get an autograph. Now, she spoke with J-Lo's assistant, who denied her to see the star. The next morning, Prey was fired. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Now, Jennifer and the hotel deny that she was fired for that reason, as the maid had allegedly barged into the room unannounced, and the singer's security immediately gave her the boot out of concern for the singer's safety. The hotel management has since assured J-Lo's people that no one was fired, but the maid company the hotel uses has relocated the maid in question to a different property. But I mean, who would lie about getting fired? It seems pretty convincing to me. "Come on, I thought you knew me better than this," Jennifer tweeted. "Would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter," she said. But Prey has a different story. And let me just say, I believe in the maid because J-Lo is known to be pretty horrible to service workers. Now, J-Lo had quite a year in 2024, and this year an interview she did with Movie Line in 1998 resurfaced, where she talked about other female actors. And let me just say, she was not saying nice things at all. On Oscar-nominated actress Salma Hayek, she said, "We're in two different realms. She's a sexy bombshell, and those are the kind of roles she does. I do all kinds of different things." Cameron Diaz was a lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. "I just wish she would have done more with," she said. And Oscar winner Gwyneth Paltrow, she said, "I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard of her work." And for Madonna, well, when asked about Madonna's acting skills, J-Lo didn't hold back. "Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that, I can act.' I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Now, after the interview was published, J-Lo regretted everything she said about her colleagues and said it was all a joke. She then later apologized profusely since then for her remarks, claiming that she was misquoted and so taken out of context. But which one is it? I think she's just trying to cover up her mean girlness, as people were calling her out. Now, she already suffered for what she said though, as Madonna had read the interview and reportedly felt disrespected. There was a New Year's Eve party hosted by Donatella Versace that year, which was attended by J-Lo, Madonna, and Christopher Saccone. Christopher explained that Ingrid Caceres, Madonna's close friend, ran into the courtyard during the celebration and shouted, "J-Lo is here and we're not talking to her." He said that everyone except for him and Donatella Versace gave Jennifer the cold shoulder, and honestly, I think she deserved it. And finally, we're moving on to the whole Super Bowl halftime show. Jennifer was frustrated with the organizers of the halftime show for giving her and Shakira the same amount of time that any solo performer would receive, rather than doubling it for their performance. Now, for context, performers at the halftime show are usually given 12 to 16 minutes on stage. But it's not uncommon for multiple artists to share the stage for a performance of this time length. Now, one recent Super Bowl, for example, saw stars Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent, with each member only receiving a few minutes directly centered in the spotlight. However, J-Lo was clearly unhappy with the idea of her and Shakira dividing the time between them, telling her music director Kim Burse in her Netflix documentary, "We have 6 effing minutes. We have 30 seconds of a song, and if we take a minute, that's it. We've got 5 left. But there's going to be certain songs that we sing though. We have to have our singing moments. We have to sing our message," she said, before going on to label the entire thing the worst idea in the world. "This is the worst idea in the world to have 2 people do the Super Bowl," she said. Now, while this is what it was like behind the scenes, to the whole world, J-Lo was acting all happy about sharing the stage. But as soon as her real feelings about the situation started to come out, fans called her out for her entitled attitude, arguing that regardless of the time constraints, she and Shakira were still able to put on an amazing performance. Now, it's crazy that she acted so happy to the public about all this when she was really feeling the opposite. I'm glad people called her out though, and I can't imagine how Shakira felt felt about all of this.
Jennifer Lopez has some dark secrets. These are a few she paid to try and keep the public from knowing. Jennifer Lopez once got hotel staff fired for autograph requests. Now, J-Lo has a few movies, to her name. She tends to do a lot of rom-coms, which are personally the ones that I like the best that she does. One of my favorite movies actually is Maid in Manhattan, which came out in 2002. Now, in this movie, her character plays a Puerto Rican hotel maid trying to make ends meet while she cares for her young son as a single mom. In 2012, Jennifer's trip to Germany made gossip headlines because a hotel worker who was also a maid named Prey Dodage was reportedly fired on the spot for just requesting an autograph. According to sources, Prey asked her assistant for an autograph and she was then fired the next day for basically no reason, so that would seem. Now, Prey went on to say, a day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said, Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone. Prey said she asked, as politely as possible and really didn't think it would be a big deal or that it would cause such a frenzy and definitely not get her fired, but unfortunately it did. The hotel denied the rumors, as did J-Lo, of course, who called the story hurtful. Of course, when Jennifer was, being interviewed on playing a hotel worker in Maid in Manhattan, she had only wholesome positive things to say, with her stating, my character is just trying to make ends meet. I really relate to her. You shouldn't judge or discard people. Well, that really did not age well, did it? So, this secret is one she's been trying to keep under wraps ever since it happened because, according to some sources, it is alleged that she tried to pay a lot of people, to keep this in the dark. But, she already has been highlighted as such a, difficult person to work with, problematic, so she had to know that this coming out would further destroy her reputation. To be so fair, I see how Prey, the maid, would assume J-Lo would just relate to her since, she played this role 10 years earlier. This next scandal is very odd, too crazy not to talk about, so prepare to be a little surprised and confused. This is the J-Lo Virgo audition controversy. Now, please let me start by saying, I'm pretty into astrology. I personally read my horoscope a couple times a week. I have an app or two on my phone, but I'm not J-Lo crazy. She takes that first place. So back in 2012, J-Lo held a dance audition for her world tour. Now, it sparked heated debates about the fairness and legitimacy of the casting process. So basically, she held an open casting call. Hundreds of dancers attended the audition, of course, but things took a very unusual turn when it was revealed that Lopez had a very peculiar requirement for the dancers. According to various reports and testimony from dancers who attended the audition, Lopez asked the dancers about their astrological signs, but in specific, really just wanted to know whether they were Virgos or not. Several dancers came forward speaking on this, including Heather Morris, which she's one of the stars from the hit show Glee, claiming that Lopez made a point to ask everyone in the room if they were Virgos or not. Some even alleged that all Virgos were dismissed and not even given a chance to audition. J-Lo apparently walked in the room and said, "Thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hands?" Apparently, she saw the raised hands, whispered to her assistant, whatever she did, and then basically dismissed all the Virgos. They all just had to leave. And this was after 6 to 8 hours of being there. One dancer who wished to remain anonymous told a popular dance publication that J-Lo's team asked about their astrological sign before the audition. And the dancer, who's a Virgo, claimed that they were immediately cut. They weren't even given a chance to attend, period. Another dancer corroborated this, saying that J-Lo's team seemed to be looking for non-Virgo specifically. This dancer, who isn't a Virgo, admitted to being surprised by the unusual question, but acknowledged being a Scorpio very well, may have given them that advantage as well as just the opportunity to even audition. I'm honestly so curious. I just want to know what Virgos have done to cause J-Lo to hate them so much. And no shade when I say this, but I know Mark Anthony, was a Virgo, so maybe that's why. Nevertheless, Lopez's team, never publicly confirmed or denied these allegations. However, J-Lo once did mention in an interview with a popular talk show, that she does believe in the power of astrology and often considers that when making important decisions. So I guess, that's why. Ohani Noah, J-Lo's first husband, spilled a lot of secrets of J-Lo that she tried to keep quiet by paying him off. Noah, a Cuban immigrant who was married to Lopez for less than a year in the late 90s, believes there are parallels between his time with the actor and her latest marriage, well, now divorce, which has sparked a wide range of reactions from fans. Now, Noah actually met Lopez Lopez when she was still on the rise, long before her global fame. At the time, Lopez was a 27-year-old actress and singer, making a name for herself in Hollywood, while Noah, 6 years younger, had just arrived a few years earlier in the US illegally from Cuba. He was working actually as a dishwasher at Gloria Estefan's restaurant in Miami when Lopez walked in and basically caught his eye. Their whirlwind romance began shortly after, with the Bronx beauty reportedly just charmed by something special in him that she hadn't seen in other men that she had worked with or been with. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Noah reminisced about the early days of their relationship. He said they lived a relatively simple life, going to movies, dining at local restaurants, a lifestyle he was comfortable with. The pair met in '96 while Lopez was in Miami filming Blood and Wine with Jack Nicholson. Now Noah, who was 22 years old, had just illegally arrived in the United States on a raft from Cuba with 6 of his friends at the age of 15 and did not speak much English. He worked as a waiter at Gloria's restaurant when he, met Lopez. Now, upon meeting, they did instantly hit it off. Lopez and Noah would talk on the phone when the actress was filming out of town. J-Lo's ex said, "I was the first, the pioneer. I was there at the beginning of her career, supporting her, dealing with her anxieties and insecurities." The two married in a modest ceremony in a friend's backyard in Miami in 1997, a stark, contrast to Lopez's recent opulent wedding, with Affleck, which included, the 5.6 million green diamond engagement ring that she is choosing to keep again. Now, the Glamour Woman of the Year's first engagement ring was a fraction of that amount, costing only $15,000, which actually is kind of a lot for normal people, but not for her. Noah claims that he put his heart into their marriage, but Lopez's drive for success came at the expense of their relationship. He said, "I was a really good husband because I believe in marriage." He added, that her focus on becoming a star just overshadowed her role as his wife. He said it became a burden. They would have disagreements at home, but in public, she wanted him to act like everything was okay. He eventually just stopped going out with her. Noah said that, he was the one to pause the relationship, but a few days later, the singer's attorneys just sent him divorce papers. He said, "When we divorced, I was heartbroken. I feel like, when she got what she wanted, I was no longer needed." Noah suggests that the challenges Affleck might, face could mirror his own, which of course they did. Now, he pointed to Affleck's, discomfort in the spotlight, remarking, on honeymoon photos where the actor appeared like he wants to be there with her, but not photographed. Noah's remarks have sparked mixed reactions from fans. Many are skeptical of his motives, questioning, why he's speaking out after more than 2 decades. One person said, "How would this clown know if she's changed since then?" Others criticized Noah for trying to cash in on, J-Lo's fame, calling the interview, opportunistic. Now, someone wrote, "I despise a man or woman who gives in to being interviewed like this. Why pile on this woman's woes after 28.5 years? For what purpose do we need, his opinion after all these years? I highly doubt he would reject Jennifer if they were to be thrown together again. He is salivating at the thought. Not classy, just not classy." Now, despite the backlash, some fans voiced support for, Noah's perspective. One person said, "I get the feeling that J-Lo is addicted to being in love, but does not want to put in the work of a marriage. She lives in a fantasy world and can't be without a man for 5 minutes. She reminds me, a lot like Elizabeth Taylor, who is married 8 or 9 times, I believe." Now, I won't be surprised if J-Lo meets that record. She needs to honestly work on herself and just learn why she can't sustain a relationship. Noah said that the media painted him as the bad guy during their divorce. He was given $50,000 just, after their split to basically protect her image by not saying anything. So, she did pay him to keep quiet, however, he just didn't keep quiet. Jennifer Lopez has paid millions to try to keep some big secrets out of our reach. Unfortunately for her, even money won't keep these in the dark. An alleged inappropriate tape scandal secret. Now, the singer's intimate videos recorded by her first husband, Ohani Noah, have been the subject of a very complicated legal battle for years. Her ex-husband's business partner, Ed Meyer, planned to unveil the film telling a tale of their failed marriage. Jennifer Lopez had filed a $10 million lawsuit against ex-husband Ohani Noah, whom she claims is violating a confidentiality agreement in place since 2004 by shopping around a honeymoon video the two made back in 1997. The video, which was called "How I Married Jennifer Lopez, the J-Lo and Ohani Noah Story," apparently includes Lopez wearing very little clothing and supposedly being intimate with Noah. It reportedly also contains a fight between her and her mother. Lopez and Noah first met at a Cuban restaurant in Miami, where he was working actually as a waiter. They married in February of 1997, but divorced only 11 months later, and Noah would go on the record much later and say their relationship changed after Lopez catapulted to the next level of stardom. He said, "Jen loves being in love, but she's been engaged 6 times now. I was husband number 1, and she told me I was the love of her life. When we laid in bed on our wedding night, she said we would be together forever." He then continued by saying, "We fell in love when she was already famous, but during our marriage, she became a mega star. For years it was too painful to talk about. I wanted to lie low and live my life, but when I saw she got married to Ben, who is a good guy, the feelings all came flooding back." It sounds to me like he still loves her, right? Now, the master tape of all the footage was in a central depository per court order, but Meyer believed at the time that they had a legal loophole after Lopez withdrew her claims while the case was in arbitration. Meyer had said, "We are going to produce a DVD and also have a streaming release of the JLo home video footage. There is a revealing video of her with lack of clothing and inappropriate situations, especially in the hotel footage from the honeymoon." He added that the footage will shock her fans and claimed that he had unfinished business with Lopez as he continued to expose her personal side. A Los Angeles judge had ordered Noah not to release the video while the case was being decided. In 2007, she won $545,000 in damages and attorney fees in another lawsuit that blocked Noah from publishing a ghostwritten tell-all book. Lopez claimed Noah demanded $5 million to keep from publishing the book. Lopez believes the video footage and proposed film are exploitative and offensive and would damage her career and reputation, which is fair. Noah disputed the claim, saying, "It's a movie about my life. They're trying to ruin my life again. She don't want me to succeed, and that's the problem." The legal drama itself is probably worthy of a telenovela, but the judge agreed with Lopez, and ultimately the tape will sit in that depository until forever. This next secret is alarming, but also surprising, because despite her failed attempts at trying to keep it out of the public, it is public for people to see, but many people aren't aware of it. This is the Jennifer Lopez criminal secret scandal. This dates back to 2015 and involves illegal substances, fraud, and payola, which is the practice of bribing someone to use their influence. You learn something new every day. Now, accusations are that JLo spiked a Sony label executive's drink and took them back to her house, where she then gifted them with numerous amount of things in exchange for streams and sales. It was also alleged that she actually took part in this deed more than 8 times over the span of like 3 months from March 2015 to June of 2015. JLo never responded to these allegations. However, on June 2nd, 2015, her debut single, "If You Had My Love," spiked 88 spots to number 15 on the US daily Spotify charts before falling 81 spots to 106 the following day. Many believe this is one of the many times where label executives, gave Lopez exactly what she wanted. The same song would have random and strange spikes on platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, etc., all helping, to push the song on the Hot 100. When a blog posted on this incident, Jennifer lost over 50,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter, and the hashtags boycott JLo and JLo Payola began trending, with, boycott JLo being the number 1 trending hashtag at the time. The following day, Kiss FM announced they would be cutting ties with JLo, and 3 days later, her song was actually removed from Spotify playlisting. Interesting. Jennifer has never spoken out about this, of course, and her mental state during it and how she felt about it. She actually hasn't even mentioned it once, so I guess we'll never know. Jennifer Lopez's name has surfaced in a $400 million essay lawsuit against her ex-boyfriend Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy has so many allegations right now. Honestly, it's hard to keep up with who's accused him of this, who is suing him with that. It's a lot, but this case will be unforgettable because this case was filed by Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who is actually serving his own sentence for an essay case of his own. He alleges that Diddy spiked his drink and essayed him during a 1997 after party. Court documents actually, revealed plans to call Jennifer Lopez as a witness, citing her past relationship with the rapper from 99 to 01, as potentially helpful for providing, relevant insights. Cardella Smith alleges he first met Diddy while working as a bartender at a bar that Diddy would sometimes show up at. His claim is that Diddy invited him to a private after party at a hotel in Detroit where the rapper offered him a drink that was allegedly laced with an unknown illegal substance. According to the lawsuit, Cardella Smith said he felt unstable, a little woozy, actually lost consciousness, and later woke up to Diddy engaging in intimate acts with a woman. He alleges that Diddy actually said to him, "I did this to you too," upon, noticing that he had regained consciousness, woke up, and was actually watching them. Jennifer Lopez has not publicly commented on the allegations, but her potential involvement has captured widespread attention. Speculation, suggests her testimony could provide crucial insights, into Diddy's character during the time of the relationship. The mention of Jennifer Lopez has added a new dimension to the case, fueling public interest. And while it remains unclear whether Lopez, would have testified or not, her involvement could have influenced the trajectory of the lawsuit and bring additional attention to the allegations against Diddy. Now, Diddy's legal team has labeled it as baseless, and that Cardella Smith mentioned 2 different locations for this alleged incident. They are also arguing that the claims were filed past the statute of limitations. Jennifer will likely keep doing what she's been doing, which is nothing, and just stay completely silent on the matter, so I doubt we'll hear anything further from her. But some new reports have actually come out and said that the case has actually been dismissed by a Michigan court. The legal proceedings apparently hit a snag when Lopez was unexpectedly pulled into the case, leading to the judge's final ruling on January 22nd, 2025. Now, according to court documents, the federal judge rules that, Cardella Smith's lawsuit was indeed filed too late, beyond the statute of limitations. The judge explained that when the alleged incident occurred in '97, the law allowed just 3 years to file claims, making Cardella Smith's 2024 lawsuit invalid. The court officially dismissed the case with, prejudice, meaning the accuser cannot bring the same allegations again in the future. Now, the court also dismissed Diddy's request for monetary sanctions against Cardella Smith for legal fees, although the judge stated that this could be reconsidered depending on future actions. Lastly, we have a big secret JLo never wanted the public to catch wind of. It's the story of how she has shamelessly stolen songs and vocals from other artists. Jennifer Lopez has been seen as someone who has mastered it all: dancing, acting, singing. The singer rose to fame after her role as Selena in the self-titled biopic. Now, though her singing career has brought her much fame and success, Lopez has been known to frequently rip off other artists. The Latina artist has had a habit of just borrowing vocals from other artists and passing them off as her own. Although this is not uncommon in the music industry, it is a clear, case that in JLo's situation, she's lip syncing to these vocals. They aren't hers. Interestingly enough, Lopez has many well-known artists who have picked up the slack for her vocally, including Ashanti, Brandy, and Christina Milian. Some critics and fans have accused her of using ghostwriters, auto-tune, and stealing vocals. One notable example is the controversy surrounding her hit single If You Had My Love back in 1999. Now, If You Had My Love is arguably one of Lopez's, signature songs. It serves, as her debut single. Now, released in '99, the single charted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for about 5 weeks straight. The chorus, however, was sung by Shinette Harrell. Now, Harrell's vocals are mixed like background vocals, so we can't really blame JLo too much, but another one is Get Right, and it's definitely a fan favorite from JLo because it's super catchy. Now, producer Rich Harrison wrote the song alongside Usher, and it was originally recorded for Usher's 2004 album Confessions. After the song failed to make the album, Harrison passed the track to Lopez as an apology for giving One Thing to A. instead of her. Usher apparently did not sign off on this though and demanded publishing rights. Now, My Love Don't Cost a Thing is one of JLo's biggest singles and solidified her status as an icon. The song is rumored though to be about the singer's ex Diddy, and although, again, this song is one that has become her most famous song, there was no background singer listed for the track, so it's hard to say whose vocals are on the track, although it is rumored to be Keneally Cox's. Now, lastly, Jenny from the Block. It's definitely Lopez's trademark song. We just can't imagine it being anyone else's, right? But with J-Lo, that isn't the case because the song was another attempt to boost the singer's street cred, and it featured Jadakiss and Styles P. Now, the voice on the single actually belonged to Natasha Ramos and was used after she kind of basically demoed the track for Lopez. Ramos's voice shares a striking resemblance to Lopez, so of course no one really noticed.
Y'all, there have been so many Jennifer Lopez warning signs throughout the past 3 decades, but some people haven't been paying attention. So here's our list of them. Now, starting off, J-Lo cannot keep a man, which is honestly really sad when you think about it, but she has a horrible relationship history. You see, J-Lo married Ojani Noah in February 1997, but their marriage was short-lived, as they divorced 11 months later. She then dated Diddy in 1999 after the pair met on the set of a music video, but they later split up in 2001. Then J-Lo and Chris Judd tied the knot in September 2001, but the couple's marriage was over by June 2002, and their divorce was finalized in 2003. This was then when she and Ben Affleck had their first engagement and then called it off in early 2004. J-Lo then married Mark Anthony in June 2004, welcoming twins Max and Emmy in February 2008. However, they announced their split in July 2011. Then just 4 months after splitting from Anthony, J-Lo started dating her backup dancer Casper Smart in November 2011. Now, they dated on and off until 2016. She announced her engagement to Alex Rodriguez in March 2019 after more than 2 years of dating, but they called off the engagement in 2021. After this, she got back together with Ben, they got married, and then got divorced. Then at some point, or even at multiple points during this, it was rumored that she had something going on with Drake. Now, the common denominator in all these relationships is J-Lo, so I'm more inclined to think that she is the problem, and that's just a huge red flag. Then there's the fact that she bases her whole identity on being from the Bronx, but it's been proven time and time again that she over-exaggerated her time there and that she doesn't even like it. Like in 2014, she was filming a documentary where she went outside her childhood home. While filming, the owner of the house came out and she explained to him that she used to live there. He asked who she was and she said Jennifer, and then she said Jennifer Lopez, and he still didn't know who she was, which is honestly just hilarious. Then, of course, she has her song Jenny from the Block, but it seems like people from the block don't really like Jenny. In 2002, it was reported that residents thought J-Lo exploited her roots to enhance her street image, but doesn't give anything back, even autographs. She's a phony, a fake, and she doesn't do anything for the block, said resident Michael O'Neill. She only comes here for her image. Yep, at this point, J-Lo showed up in the Bronx for an interview with Diane Sawyer. Now, for the cameras, she visited places she used to frequent, but behind the scenes, her bodyguards were pushing away fans, leaving some in tears. She doesn't represent like Mariah and Nelly and Eminem, shouted Angelina Williams at the time. She won't come to our graduation or our dance marathon, she just says no. That's not right. Now, one local said she got millions of dollars, she uses the school and hasn't donated a thing. She should be making a difference. Build an after-school program, donate computers, do something. Now, when J-Lo was asked if she gave to Bronx charities, an assistant in her publicist's office said, "I'm not sure whether that's information she does give out." Yikes. Then there was the fact that in 2011, J-Lo filmed a car commercial that was supposed to take place in the Bronx, but the ad backfired when it was reported that she never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad and that a body double stand-in was used instead. And I mean, if you watch the ad knowing all this information, it's pretty obvious. Now, one of the reasons why J-Lo might not be able to keep a man is the reported rules that she puts on them. In 2017, she made headlines when news broke that she was dating former New York Yankee Alex Rodriguez. Rumors later spread that J-Lo would only consider marrying A-Rod if he agreed to a list of demands. Reportedly, he was not allowed to talk to any women under the age of 40, and due to the fact that J-Lo loved his physique, she wanted a guarantee that he wouldn't let himself go once they got married. In addition to this, the singer insisted on a limit of 3 drinks for A-Rod when he was out of town, according to Us Weekly. And now J-Lo didn't just do this with A-Rod. According to OK Magazine, J-Lo reportedly put Ben on a strict diet and workout regimen since the two got back together. When they first started dating, Ben was up at 5 a.m. hitting the gym with J-Lo. He was a lot more conscious about looking like a guy who was worthy of dating Hollywood's biggest glamour gal, the source said, before revealing that J-Lo believed Ben was beginning to let himself go. J-Lo. She expects him to pick up the slack and wants him working out every day and eating right, no excuses, the source added at the time. Now, J-Lo has always been rude to others, whether it be fans, staff, or even other celebrities. Something that resurfaced last year was her interview she did with Movie Line in 1998. Now, this was at the beginning of her career, so I can't imagine what she'd say today. Now, she was talking about other stars and was just being straight up rude. On Salma Hayek, she said, in part, "It makes me laugh when she says she got offered Selena, which was an outright lie. If that's what she does to get herself publicity, then that's her thing." On Gwyneth Paltrow, she said, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." On Winona Ryder, she said, "I was never a big fan of hers. In Hollywood, she's revered, she gets nominated for Oscars, but I've never heard anyone in the public or among my friends say, 'Oh, I love her.'" And finally, on Madonna, she said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, 'Oh, I can do that, I can act.' I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Yeah, now this clearly upset a lot of people. And with the resurgence of this article, it might be the reason why no celebrities really wanted to make cameos in her new self-funded musical movie, This Is Me Now, a love story, that was released in early 2024. Now, alongside the film, Jen also released a documentary, and in the doc she talks about all the other celebrities she asked to be part of the film who declined. She says, "I don't want to force anyone who doesn't think that it's going to be fun to do this. Nobody wants to say no to me, I get that, but when an actor doesn't like a script or is worried about it, that's what they say. I know that, I've done that." Now later on we hear that Taylor Swift was a no, Jason Momoa was not available, Jennifer Coolidge was also not available, and Ariana Grande was also unavailable. Now she wanted Bad Bunny to make a little cameo, but he never did. Now there were some stars who said yes, like Jane Fonda, Keke Palmer, Fat Joe, Trevor Noah, Sofia Vergara, Post Malone, Kim Petras, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and obviously Ben Affleck. But still, that many celebrities turning her down is not a good look. I mean, J-Lo did come under fire last year after her appearance at the Met Gala. Anika Reed, senior news editor at USA Today, posted a TikTok 2 days after the event asking J-Lo who she was wearing. J-Lo responded with one word while looking the journalist up and down as she ascended the Met Gala staircase. Now, a lot of people accused her of being rude, as some viewers believe that she spoke condescendingly to the editor. Now online, a woman named Emily Watford, who worked in an arena where J-Lo performed, said that J-Lo's niceness is so fake, disgusting. She said everything in her room had to be white, she made them close and sanitize the entire child playroom for only her kid or kids, whatever she has. That isn't bad. If you've got the money to do it, then do it. She said, but what was bad was that a doorman looked at her, and apparently she hates when staff look at her. So she started yelling at her, whoever about it, in front of the doorman like he wasn't there. He said so much for Jenny from the block, and well, she got him fired. Now, there was also a time where she got a maid fired from her job. Jennifer was staying at the Melia Dusseldorf in Germany, and a maid working at the Hotel Prey Doja approached the Diva's room to get an autograph. She spoke with J-Lo's assistant, who denied her to see the star, and the next morning Prey was fired. Prey said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Then there's the fact that J-Lo is known for being cheap. According to several of J-Lo's former staff members, Jennifer earned herself the nickname Paylo because she paid her staff around 50% less than they could make elsewhere. Now, this rumor has been going on for years, as way back in 2003, Jennifer was spotted in Vegas with her then boyfriend Ben Affleck, and the pair had a big win, and Ben decided to drop a $2,000 tip to the dealer, but before he could scoop up the generous reward, J-Lo snatched up the cash and swapped it for $200 instead. Guys, Jennifer Lopez has not been having a good year. From being associated with Diddy to getting divorced from Ben Affleck, here's our list of the 10 times Jennifer Lopez destroyed her own reputation. Now, starting off, we have to talk about Diddy. J-Lo dated Diddy for 2 years, starting in 1999. Now, since Diddy's arrest, people have brought up her association with him.
But at first, I didn't like him at all. you know, I didn't.
As she's been in many photos and videos attending Diddy's parties. Now, I mean, it makes sense that she was there as they were dating, but did she know about the crimes Diddy was committing? Some people think so, as he was committing these crimes while they were together.
Once I got to know him, you know, we became friends first. We developed this bond.
Now, some people think that she not only knew about them, but that she participated in these acts. Now, her association with him has raised a lot of questions. I mean, she was once arrested with Diddy. In 1999, Diddy was arrested following an incident that happened at a nightclub in New York. That night, Diddy was with his bodyguard Anthony Wolf, rapper Jamal Barrows, and Jennifer. The incident started with a disagreement and ended with 3 different people becoming injured. After the incident, Diddy, J-Lo, and Jamal left the scene, but then the 3 were involved in a police car chase. According to the Washington Post, police found a stolen weapon in the car, and both Diddy and J-Lo were arrested and initially charged with criminal possession of stolen property. Now, the charges against J-Lo were dropped overnight, but Jennifer spent 14 hours in a police station as a result of the incident. She later described it as an unfortunate situation, adding, "We were somewhere we shouldn't have been. It was a bad situation, and any bad situation that involves celebrities, people run with." But some witnesses, though, say they saw J-Lo throw evidence out of the car while they were running from the police. Then there was her documentary that came out this year. It was based on her album and accompanying film. The documentary taught us a lot about J-Lo we didn't know and that we didn't need to know. In one scene, it shows Jennifer looking into a mirror reminiscing about her childhood. She says, "I feel like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams."
Like taking my hair out like this, it reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx.
But even though she loves speaking about the Bronx, it's a place she actively avoids as people who actually live there have exposed her. One TikTok creator, going by Photos by Angela, posted a video alleging that she and J-Lo had gone to the same high school. In the TikTok clip, she accused J-Lo of lying and using the residents of the Bronx to look human. "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood.
Both attended an all-girls Catholic high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood.
So you weren't running up and down the block," Angela says. Now, J-Lo also tries to be extremely relatable, though no one really feels that way about her. In a video, she recalls her go-to order at her local bodega while growing up. "My go-to order at the bodega was ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink. If you know, you know.
Ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink, if you know, you know.
And a small bag of chips," she says. On TikTok, though, creators from the neighborhood have taken to the internet to express their outright confusion about J-Lo's bodega request. Specifically, people seem to be pretty confused about what exactly the orange drink is. Now, some of these creators have actually gone to the Bronx bodegas themselves to take stock of all the orange-colored drinks available and try to guess which one the superstar was going on about, but no one knows what orange drink you're talking about, J-Lo, and people are just making fun of you. Now, this year, J-Lo released an album called This Is Me Now, and it debuted at a disappointing 8 on the Billboard 200. Now, people did not like this album at all, even though J-Lo showed the process of her making it in her documentary. Now, despite the negative reception of this, J-Lo then decided that she would tour with the album. She first announced her tour in the middle of February, initially as the This Is Me Now tour. A week later, another 3 shows were added, but however, in mid-March, several tour dates were quietly removed without explanation. Then, the tour's name had been changed from This Is Me Now to This Is Me Live, The Greatest Hits. So instead of being on tour for that specific album, she was having one of her own Eras tours. It had been cited that low ticket sales were a possible reason for emphasizing J-Lo's back catalog. But then, her tour was cancelled. J-Lo sent a special message to her fans via her On the J-Lo newsletter, telling them that she was cancelling the tour. "I am completely heartsick and devastated about letting you down." She also said, "Please know that I wouldn't do this if I didn't feel that it was absolutely necessary. I promise I'll make it up to you and we'll be together again. I love you all so much. Until next time." Now, representatives for Live Nation announced that the summer tour This Is Me Live was cancelled, saying in a statement, "Jennifer is taking time time off to be with her children, family, and close friends. Sources insisted that pulling the plug was not due to poor ticket sales, but rather for personal reasons and wanting to be with her kids. At the time though, it was rumored that she was divorcing Ben Affleck. And she ended up doing just that. Now, Jennifer and Ben first met on the set of the 2003 rom-com Gilgy. At the time, J-Lo was still married to her second husband, dancer Chris Judd. J-Lo and Ben then went public with their relationship soon after her divorce from Chris, and in November 2002, J-Lo confirmed that they were engaged in an interview with Diane Sawyer. Then, in September 2003, the couple postponed their wedding. Yep, 2 days before the two were set to officially tie the knot, they released a joint statement announcing the ceremony's postponement. Then, on January 22, 2004, the two ended their engagement. But in 2021, the pair reconnected and started dating again. Then they got engaged again, and they then got married in July 2022 in Las Vegas. After their Las Vegas nuptials, the two married again in a lavish ceremony in Georgia on August 20th, 2022. But then on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, in LA, J-Lo filed for divorce at the County Superior Court. Now, people were expecting that they wouldn't last, and they didn't. How shocking. I mean, J-Lo has ruined her reputation with her love life. I mean, her dating and marriage history is just crazy. You see, J-Lo married Ojani Noah in February 1997, but their marriage was short-lived as they divorced 11 months later. She then dated Diddy in 1999 after the pair met on the set of a music video, but they later split up in 2001. Then J-Lo and Chris Judd tied the knot in September 2001. The couple's marriage was over by June 2002, and their divorce was finalized in 2003. She then married Mark Anthony in June 2004, welcoming twins Max and Emmy in February 2008. However, they announced their split in July 2011. Then, just 4 months after splitting from Anthony, J-Lo started dating backup dancer Casper Smart in November 2011. They dated on and off until 2016, and she announced her engagement to Alex Rodriguez in March 2019 after more than 2 years of dating. But they then called off the engagement in 2021, and after this she got back together with Ben. Crazy, right? I mean, I think she's the problem. Then, a rude interview of J-Lo also resurfaced this year, which made people dislike her even more. She was speaking about her fellow artists in the film industry and had this to say: "Gwyneth Paltrow, tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she's in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I've ever heard about her work." When it came to Madonna, she said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Now, the funny thing about this is that Jennifer said this after only having Selena in the movie Anaconda under her belt for her career. Yeah, that was so embarrassing, and I'm glad people are actually calling her out for this behavior. And finally, there's the fact that she's known in the industry for not singing her own songs, stealing them from other artists, and lip-syncing during live performances. Multiple singers have spoken up claiming that they demoed some of J-Lo's songs and the vocals were left on the final cut. And Usher claimed that she stole one of his songs. He claimed that her single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote the year before, which is actually only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J-Lo to just take it." Yikes, it seems like she isn't even respected in the music industry.